I'm still eating lunch, so I'm going to turn off my video because nobody needs to see that. So
Well, I made it. I was a couple minutes late, but there's a lot going on today.
Yeah,
Yeah, Lily was
nice.
telling me about the 11th graders were going to be able to go to the ceremony today. She was really excited about that.
Yeah, and this was one of those neat opportunities that obviously it starts at the idea stage, but then it starts growing and growing and growing. And we learned maybe Tuesday afternoon that the judges would be here early enough that they said, hey, if your eighth grade wants to hear from the judges, then we can set something up. So we did that and kind of pulled that together. And then the naturalization ceremony itself involved lots and lots of students watching, but then also the band and the orchestra, or the honors orchestra, and anthem and synergy. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, Ian told me last night that they were going to be able to. He's like, there's federal judges coming, Mom. So I was like, that's great.
my sense
So
with
I
the
think they were excited about
Yeah, my sense with the eighth graders was that they probably didn't appreciate the opportunity they had today coming
it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not every community where, yeah, this federal judge lives here and that federal judge lives here, but the opportunity for eighth graders to get to engage with and ask questions of, it's like not everybody gets that when they're kind of learning their early American history, to have it through the eyes of federal judges and kind of what the system
Who
be.
who was part of the ceremony today? Was it some students or?
So you mean in terms of who's being naturalized?
Yeah.
No, it was just other residents from the Dayton area, and they were
Okay.
from all over. Judge Sylvain introduced them by their nationality or the country they were coming from, and they were, Cameroon and Canada and Chile and China, and it's like you're hitting a lot of the
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
a lot of countries represented today.
that's great.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, at least that I think I would know, but I don't think there were any Oakwood students as part of the ceremony. I think there might be a community member or two who were involved and invited. But it was
That's
great.
neat.
That's cool. I loved all the flags outside. That looks really neat too. Driving by.
Yeah, I think Lori Peters and Lori Desch probably get a big shout out there. Decorating and planning for those sorts of things probably isn't my strong suit, and it wouldn't be Dr. Waller's. I mean, he definitely thinks of those things, but when it comes to pulling it off, they do a great job.
I know they said they were going to be a little late, and we can wait a few more. I don't know how late they were going to be.
Yeah, I was just up there 10 minutes ago, and I think they'll be a while, would be my guess. There were
okay.
There were people getting pictures with them, and I don't know if that's because they didn't know, like, here's a high school principal. Actually,
Right.
I don't know if you just saw, we're having vehicles exit out this right outside my window, like down
okay.
down the sidewalk, because I don't know if you've ever parked in the teacher parking lot by the building, but it's kind of a mess, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if you're not experienced with getting in and out of it, it's more of a mess. So parking all new people who've never parked there before, we were able to work it out with Oakwood Safety to use this as our exit.
Oh, well, yeah, it is crazy over there. I actually quit trying to park there for certain things after a while because I didn't want to deal with it. Well, we
But I
can
think
go
we'd
ahead and
be
start then.
fine to
So
get started, because I don't know if they'll be available or what time they'll be available. There were still a lot of people in the auditorium when I came down.
Yeah, they gave me first it was like a few minutes, then it went to oh, we're not quite sure. And then I was like, okay, we'll just kind of, I get it. Especially because it kind of came up last minute or at the end. So yeah. Well, you would be first if you would like to go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm trying to get in the headspace of, okay, well, now back to the
right.
junior high. One of the big junior high things, and I haven't peeked at the agenda again today, but the junior high play is next week, and that's a big event each year. Kids start working on that in September, early October, and have been working with Amy Askins on, now it's 2 1-act plays instead of doing one 5-act play. They pick a couple shorter ones so they can have more students involved, but that's a big deal, and it's something that our kids have worked really hard on. So that's coming up next week, and then we have a dance in a couple of weeks. But probably the thing parents to be, and I see, are we all high school parents today? Let's see. think we're all high school parents right now, scheduling is around the corner. So that's the thing that I think parents who in particular haven't been through the process before, mostly it's our 7th grade parents who are our upcoming 7th grade parents who will be trying to get information out to. But Kelly will be coming in with Adam and Paige to our 8th grade classrooms and doing scheduling for high school coming up in the early February. So those are things just to have conversations with your kids about. I think you all know the drill by now, but if you hear from other parents, kind of that process of having the long-term view of where do I want to go and which classes do I want to really push in and which ones is it better to have kind of a reprieve or something that's more not on the fun side, but you have to have that balance. I
Yeah.
was looking at a high school schedule earlier this week, and the student had 2 CCP classes and 4 or 5 AP classes, and is just having a tougher time. And you're like, well, I think there is that balance even as adults we need to work into our lives. And if you can do all those things, great, but most people aren't built to do like that much at a time. So just having those conversations with kids early. In 8th grade, I think they only have the 1 AP available, but a lot of people might try to, hey, I'm going to do AP and I'm going to be taking geometry or pre-algebra, and I'm going to be taking honors English, and I'm taking a 2nd level of a language, and it just it adds up. So I think to have those conversations with your kids about where is that balance and what are the right classes for you to take based on what your future interests are. Aside from that, I think it's been a good transition back, starting back up last week. It feels like longer than that ago that our students came back. But I feel like, just that re-energization around the break being over in 2nd semester, but probably especially with the construction, it's getting close. So I was in yesterday, and in the choir room, they were putting in the pyramidal acoustic paneling in the ceiling. And it's just going to be so different to have classrooms that are designed for what they're used for, instead of like, well, here's a space, we can use this for our band. Or
Yeah.
here's we can use it for our orchestra. It's going to be really neat. And I think the size of those rooms, for those who get a chance early to go in and see them, I would say the band room is probably twice at least the size, but it's 4 times the volume because the ceiling's so high. And it's going to be so different to not see earplugs when you go in to see the band, or not,
Right.
have the orchestra kind of smushed and flattened into a long direction, but just being able to be arranged like a normal symphony would. Like, I think
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, you've probably seen that the ribbon cutting is February 7th. To give a timeline for that, we're still waiting on concrete, which the weather, I don't know if they're pouring today. I haven't been out there. They were hoping today might be their chance, because if the ground is frozen, it's a no-go. And if it's raining, it's a no-go. And in January in Ohio, that's tough. So they were hoping to get that poured at some point where it can cure long enough for the ribbon cutting to be kind of using it. But that's kind of the last big barrier. Otherwise, everything's been on time and on schedule and going really well.
Excuse me, did you say February 7th?
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Yeah, February 7th.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Now I expect students will probably be in the rooms maybe a day or two before to get, obviously, if we're going to have at the ribbon cutting orchestra and band and choir using the space, well, they need their instruments, for example, in band and orchestra. So it'll probably be maybe that Monday or Tuesday that we use our army of students to transport things down that way. And then any bigger items will have our service staff move, but they might get their chance to have their first classes in there earlier that week. But that would be our ribbon cutting event.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
exciting.
questions for me? I mean, I obviously have a lot of excitement for that in general, and for not
Mhm.
having construction for the first time in a long time.
All right, the streets.
What time is the ribbon cutting again? Could you mention the time? I forget.
I think it's at noon.
Okay, thank you.
So it's right during lunch. And that'll be probably a smaller event. And then we'll have or OSF actually will be putting on kind of the grand opening, or the bigger event in April-ish, I think.
Okay. In February. Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's exciting. I'm excited for that to finally. I'm sad that Alina didn't get to see that, but I'm glad that it's happening afterwards, Next up would be Kelly with the staff liaisons report. If you're done eating, I'm sorry.
It takes a while,
Yeah.
yes. Hey, I want to start off with thanking PTO for our amazing holiday luncheon. Oh my gosh, we really appreciate that. And it's a really nice time for us all to come together, and the food is awesome. And then also the a cappella groups perform, and it's just a really nice way to send us off for our holiday break. So thank you very, very much for that. And that's just a highlight of the end of the semester. And we're very fortunate to have all of you who make that happen. So thank you. I haven't had, usually I have a chance to debrief with Dr. Waller, but this morning, Mr. Wessner and I took 24 sophomores down to Centerville so they could view and tour the career ed programs. And on the 25th, we're going to take, gosh, I think we're up to about 30. I had to order another van today. So I think we're going to take about 30 kids so they can tour the Fairmont's, career tech programs. So the sophomores who are interested in those programs will be filling out their applications. We'll be sending them over, and we'll be getting those decisions hopefully before they're starting to build their schedules, as Mr. Bagnop was talking about. Scheduling, yes, I cannot believe we're here again. It just seems to come quicker and quicker every year. We're going to do pretty much the same process we've done in the past, except we're not going to have the, well, last year we didn't have the class meetings either. So we will have videos and send out all kinds of instructions. That'll go out through advisory. It seemed to work pretty well last year, but we'll be talking about the different classes that are available for the students to choose for their schedules for the next year. And the teachers will be making their videos. If you go to our website, you can see the videos they made talking about the different classes that are offered. So it's nice to have that all on there electronically so that they can go back, students can go back and review it, or parents can look at it. The one thing we're going to do differently, and we always have the kiddos give us their requests via a Google Sheet. And part of the reason we do that, we had them a number of years ago actually go into our student information system and put their courses in. But the problem with that is it really pushes our process back quite a ways, because we have to make sure everything's in there and perfect and ready to go. By having them do a Google Sheet, we can kind of control the timing of that a little bit more. And then with Tim, with his help, and Hillary Waugh and I, we are able to just upload all of those requests into our student information system. And Hillary and I have a chance to kind of clean things up a little bit from the kids' requests. So they're going to be doing a Google form again this year with their requests. But the thing we're going to do differently, Tim had mentioned that we're going to come into the 8th grade classrooms. We're actually going to be in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. The counselors are going to be in there, and we're going to sit down with each kiddo as they're inputting. Now, they should know what they want to put in there prior to that. They'll get a scheduling course worksheet, and hopefully they'll take that home and talk to their parents about it, and they'll come to that English class that's been designated. But we're going to sit there, and we're hoping that that will help, again, clean things up. We won't hopefully have to chase after as many of them if they don't put those, if they don't input those. Last year I think we had to chase after about 100 of them who hadn't put their requests in yet. So with us sitting down, it should take, we should be able to get through a whole class during that one period, but we could kind of watch them input those classes. And so we're hoping, we're always trying to do, we're always looking at and reevaluating our processes to try to make it what's best for us on the building end of the master schedule, but what's best for the kids to communicate with us what they want to take. So we're going to be doing that. Those dates are in the first week of February. We've already set all those dates up and the English classes we're going to go to. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to really help us get those course requests in and get them in properly. Speaking of that, curriculum night is January 31st. So we have also on curriculum night, we have the 8th grade parent scheduling meeting. I think that's 5:30 to 6:30. And then the CCP parent meeting is from 6:45 to 7:45. So curriculum night is from 5 to 8. The 8th grade parents are invited to come to the auditorium, and we will just talk about all the courses that are available to the 8th graders. Just talk about them transitioning into that freshman year and high school. So that'll be 5:30 to 6:30. And then the CCP parent meeting is mandatory for any students who are wanting to take a CCP class. So that will be 6:45 to 7:45, and that's January 31st. We're into the scholarship season now for our seniors. I just got information on the date in Montgomery County. We're just getting all of that information out. The counselors will be meeting with their juniors for their junior conferences, so that'll be coming up. And we don't have the date set yet, but we will be going into junior English classes and talking to them about what they need to be doing to prepare themselves for the college application process. That'll be January or February, probably before winter break. But it's kind of what we have going on. Any questions?
Quick question. What are the days that the students will actually be picking their classes?
I don't, let me see. I have to pull that up. Where Emma, are you talking about where they're inputting them?
Yes, I'm just wondering. I know they get the booklet and they talk about
Right.
it. I imagine they're going to be doing all that. I just am, just trying to figure out at what point I need to be making sure I know with the kids what they're actually doing.
Right. Let me have to see scheduling, course verification. I was just in here the other day. Scheduling timeline. They're going to be, I know it's the first week of February.
Okay,
But
on the first week.
It'll be the first week of February where, do you have okay, thank you. Mr. Westner sitting right here. It's February 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 12th. And 6, 7, 8, 9, and 12. That's where they're going to be inputting their course requests. And then they will have a chance, after they input them, they'll have a chance to verify them to make sure that everything's in there correctly. And then that will be probably around the 1st of March. And then we actually start building the schedule right around spring break. And the plan is the same as it's always been, is to have these schedules out to the kids for the high school before we leave for summer break.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have a question,
Mhm.
Kelly. Is there anything new, any new highlights, any classes going? Like last year when we went to curriculum night, we discovered that they were offering that organic chemistry class, which Lily just took and she liked. Is there any new things, old things?
I know there's an economics class. I haven't seen the program of study just yet, but
Okay. Well, I mean, it'll be in the book, but
it'll be in the book, yes. But yeah, so I know there's a new economics class. I don't know if we think we're gonna have a CCP accounting. That'll be nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be nice. That's what, and I'm looking at Mr. Westner because he is our CCP
or
guru.
your guru.
Yes, that's a huge job. That CCP is a huge job. So yeah, but that's all that I've really
Okay.
from when I because I kind of proofed it a little bit, but that's all. I saw that in the no question, and I apologize. Taking the, here's my yearly joke. We took 24 kids and we brought the same 24 back. So
There you go.
I'm just counting it as a success today. So
Big W.
well, there was one who was missing for just a few minutes, and we were like, where is he? And I don't know if you've been in Centerville High School or not, but
Oh my gosh, it's a labyrinth.
I know. I just have to have one little aside. We took our little 24 group in, and they're sitting in the stands, and I said, kiddos, Oakwood, just sit in the stands. I said, because a third of the sophomore class from Centerville is going to be coming in. So that's about 200 kids. And they were like,
I'm
and
sure.
then trying to get ours in while another third is coming in. So and then they're
Huge.
walking through the halls. They're like, how much time do they have between classes? And
I don't want to digress, but I witnessed their PE class around the track. it was like herding cats. Lily, the tennis team was over there because they took the whole day off for whatever sectionals or districts at Centerville. And I just, in between the matches, I'm running the track because I have nothing else to do. And I'm the PE teacher. They had like an army of teachers. And I mean, I was laughing. It was so funny.
Well, I know it is. It's just their little eyes just get really, really big. But we
There might have
found
been
we have
100
one
kids in this class.
we have one missing for, it was only for about 5 minutes, but we found him and we're like, there you are. So, I'll go, I'm gonna turn off my camera and I'll go over and try to grab the program of study from Mrs. Peters and see what else I can
Okay.
find. Okay.
Oh, I have
Thank
one
you.
question, maybe, and I don't know if we know this yet. The AP Calc, you know, last year we were going to do the CCP Calc, and then we added in the AP Calc that Mr. Polk is so nicely doing. Is that still happening, and will AP Calc then be put in the program of studies as an option for students?
I'll have to look and see what's in the program of study, but we are still going to do that. I haven't heard anything different.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's in there as a separate option, but the course code is there and it's easy to put them in that class, that course.
Okay.
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 Thanks, everybody. Great questions.
Thank you. I guess Dio, you would be next.
All right, I'm gonna attempt to share my screen. So hopefully I don't have anything embarrassing opening here. So, I mean,
We'll let you know.
yeah.
You do. Yeah. One could be embarrassed.
All right. Do you see a budget?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
I don't know how to do this.
Have you selected it? I can do it for you. I just need to
I got it.
You
I
got
got
it?
it.
Yes.
You got it?
Starting to share. Let's see what comes. Yes, you got it.
Thank you. All right. Okay, never mind. You don't even know what I did. Okay. I'm just gonna hit the highlights on this, and then I have just like a small paragraph. So right now, our membership in our directories, you can see here, we had about $205, just some nice teacher contributions that for whatever, they just donated a little bit of money, and we really appreciate that. Jamie brought that over, and that's in the bank. So you can see out of our $13,500 goal for fundraising, we're at about 10.5. Dorothy Lane Market, right before our call, I went in again and tried to see if they had released their 2023 where we came. Jamie and Emma and Laura and the team really did a big push on try to up our numbers. So I know we don't have very many people on our call right now, but now is the time to sign up again. If anybody's reading our meeting notes, Kroger, we just had some money put in. I'll hit that specifically in a second. Now, line item 10 here, you can see here, we assisted the Oakwood Board of Education. The Board of Education independently went out and met with a popcorn vendor. I don't know if any of the administration on this received a popcorn bag, but because they're a nonprofit, I mean, because we are a nonprofit and they don't do money, we just were a little repository for them. So you can see the companies that donated money, Coin, the store uptown, Lindsay Woodruff store, the Robert Jones, Sibsey Klein, the Board of Education each donated, and then Oakwood Plumbers, that money just got deposited. But you can see that there was $1,500 deposited. So that's just kind of a push. So it looks like we have extra money, but it's a spent item. So I wrote the vendor who did the popcorn bags a check, and you'll see that in a second. Teacher grants are coming up here. We have $2,200 left. And then we have a bunch of items that will be used at the, probably our fourth quarter of school, freshman challenge, just going through things. You can see the holiday luncheon. I'm still missing some receipts. I need Lily to go, the bagel company. I need Lily to go get the mail for me. Just going down here, we've done our acorn. We'll do after prom, just some of the items that are coming up. You can see the November speaker hit here. I'm just covering a few things since we haven't had a meeting since November. And then there was a little Panera purchase. And then this was the Kim Torrance. It was the name of the popcorn vendor. So that's the push, the 1,500 in, 1,500 out. Are there any questions on the actual, this part of the budget before I get into? Okay, so right now, we have about $20,000 in our budget, and hopefully, you know, we'll be realizing some Dorothy Lane Market money. Kroger money in December, I deposited $315. And so right now we have $8,200 of money that is budgeted to spend. So that's going to roughly put us at about $13,000, which is kind of our bottom cushion that we would want to have to roll into the next year, just in case, you know, fundraising doesn't go as well. So, so we're kind of, oh, hi, hello. Hi. So, anyway, we're doing just fine. Are there any questions on the budget?
I've already done my, I'm gonna mute this.
No
Anything-
questions, Theo, but I was gonna tell everyone, I just went into Dorothy Lane Market. You go to Good Neighbor Enrollment. It's so easy. Oakwood Junior
Yeah.
Senior High PTO, we're number 274.
That's right,
Pop
274,
that in, 274, it takes about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yes.
Everyone, go to Dorothy Lane Market.
Do it.
And
Yes.
Kroger takes a little bit longer, but once you're locked and loaded, you're locked and loaded. I mean, it's forever.
Yeah, for good.
Yeah, for good. And you'll never know how to change it.
Yeah, you're just sitting there.
Got my support in place. So that's it on the money. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Mr. Gupta and Amanda. How are you? Thank you for joining.
Okay, they're
There
unmuted
we
now.
are. We're on.
Oh. How are you guys?
Good. Sorry for our tardiness. With the naturalization ceremony concluded, there were a lot of pictures that were taken. A lot of it was a neat ceremony. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't, like, we didn't really realize how big it was until today. So yeah, we're actually to you if you would like to speak a little bit for the superintendent's report.
Sure. I'll go first, and then I'll turn it over to Amanda to introduce herself, because you've not met her yet, and she's not met you. So just real quick, welcome everybody. Just hope everybody had a great holiday break. Our students are back and refreshed, recharged, which is phenomenal. Just from a quick standpoint here at the high school, with the naturalization ceremony, there are 3 federal judges that live in Oakwood. One of them had said, our kids were just amazing. She said they were so respectful. She goes, we've been to other places. She's spoken it in auditoriums with kids and said, your kids were amazing. So thank you. Just appreciate that first and foremost, because, you know, we want our kids to be smart. We want our kids to be excelling in lots of different areas, but we also want our kids to be kind and respectful, and that shone through today. Really the big thing I want to share is something that came from, you know, it was put out in the Oakwood Register, I guess in December. It was at the board meeting of December, this embarking on a new journey, that visual with the Oakwood airplane going off the runways, sort of thing. You know, it really comes out of this conversation that I had, even when I was going through the interview process, on what is the superintendent, Neil, what is your vision for the district? And I still get that. Even last week, somebody asked me the question of what's my vision. And I said, look, I got lots of ideas, but I'm still only 5 months in, and I got to be careful. We should be careful that if it's Neil's vision, we can get ourselves in trouble. It should be that Neil's leading the district's vision, the community's vision. And so in order for me to do that, people have come to me informally and you know, asked me to do things. Remember, we're a public school district. We have a finite budget. So if I say yes to the first 5 people, we won't have the money and resources to do the next 10 things, sort of thing. So it's really trying to figure out what's our priorities that we want to put together. So I'm using a multi-pronged approach. I'll say it that way. There's some informational things that is on that launch pad sort of thing. And then there's things that are developing two-way communication. So later this month, you'll see a quality profile that goes out. We're going to, it hasn't been done since 2019. It's really a reaction to what does our community care about from a data metric standpoint. It isn't just the state test results that come on the state report card, because I think we would all agree that that's not what our mark of success is for Oakwood. You and me, we didn't move into Oakwood because of trying to meet the minimum requirements of the state requirements. But it's the things in there like what is the ACT test average? What is how many national merit scholars do we have? And then it gets into other things that you'll see in there. And we've done that before. It's just we took a pause in 2019 with it. And so we're kind of getting it back, in there. So that's something Amanda's been heavily involved in. You'll also see it in about February. We're going to put out a survey. We're using a third-party company to do that. We're not putting, it's not going out to necessarily, I'll talk out of both sides of my mouth for a second. The company is not going to send it out to everybody. They're going to use a valid, reliable, statistical way of doing it that represents the community. So it'll be a randomized sampling of it that's going to go out. They've allowed us to, I told them, while you're giving us that, I appreciate it. I don't want the community to come back and say, but I didn't get the phone call, I didn't get the email, or I didn't get the opportunity to give feedback. So they are allowing us to copy paste their questions. We'll throw that in a Google survey, and we'll allow on our district website and other ways for people to give feedback that way. Then we'll have 2 data sets. We'll say, this is what the company's results showed. And then anybody and everybody that wanted to give results, here's what it looked like. So it's just another way for us to gather feedback. We're also doing community coffee chats. So we had our first one this morning at the OCC. The data point that's most important to me is that 60% of our community are empty nesters. So me getting to basketball games and informally bumping into people at school events isn't going to get me that majority piece. So I chose a neutral site, the community center. We may change that later if we find out that, because it's easier for us to have all the resources, coffee, that kind of stuff, rather than trying to transport it every time. But for the next couple of months, we'll definitely do it at the OCC. We had 5 people this morning, which was great. It really is about stop in, have coffee, share a concern, share a question, provide some feedback. But not that it's a full meeting and stay the whole time sort of thing. The people today stayed the whole time, which is fine. It's lovely. There's no problems with that. Just want people to know that if they kind of look at the calendar and say, I can only make it for 10 minutes, but I got this one question I wanted to kind of share, go ahead. I will kind of give the disclaimer I gave it this morning of give us the grace of permission. Both Amanda and I are both new, and so we may not have an answer right away, but it's something that we'll at least put on our radar. And so sometimes the question or the answer is yes or no, but sometimes the answer might be not now. Like we'll at least put it on our radar and we'll look into it into the future. And I think today was successful that a lot of people brought up some good issues with us and gave us that permission of, hey, can you look into this? These are longstanding things that have been around for a long time. They're complex issues, but we'd love for you just to be aware of it. And so we'll talk with our administrative team and circle back with them and start executing what that might look like. And then there is what I'll use the word, the phrase key communicators. And then, the last, I say, or second to last prong is the idea of that the coffees, let's say, are informal groups. Anybody can come in and that sort of thing. A key communicators group that I put together was basically getting feedback from our administrative team to look at a diverse group of people that will be a consistent group to give me feedback on an ongoing basis. So our first meeting for that will be next week. And then that group will meet every other month. So I'm looking forward, again, to get feedback from people. And my hope is by meeting 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that, there'll be this nice old machine of like, oh yeah, we heard about that before. Give us the update. Or we still haven't felt progress, let us know. And we'll go through that. That's all going to launch us into a strategic plan that's going to start about March. The strategic plan is going to be a diverse group of people that will be coming in. We may do some surveying to gather some feedback that will help inform that group. Things that we're going to look at will be big rocks. We're not going to look at like this nitty gritty. We're going to change this or change that specific thing. It's going to be what is our community looking for from a large standpoint. We're going to take a look at our mission statement and our vision statement. Not that it's because Neil Gupta's new and he's coming in and wanting to change things up. I would say if and when I'm here in my 8th year, we're going to come and revisit our mission statement again. I think about 8 to 10 years is a good opportunity to ask the community, what is it that we believe in is the future for our school and our students. So it could be that group says, keep it, and that's fine too. Then it means that we'll just reaffirm it, or it might be that we take a look at it and try to rebrand and refresh ourselves with that. Not our logo, not anything like that. We're still going to be the Oakwood Lumberjacks, just our mission statement of doing what's best for students. So with that, I'll go ahead and pause if you have any questions, or else turn it over to Amanda.
All right, I will jump in then. Amanda Brown, Community Relations, and I'm super excited to be here. I've only been here less than 30 days, and half of that was Christmas break. So I am very excited to see and meet all of you, hopefully in person, very, very soon. My background before coming to Oakwood, I spent 8 years of my career as a journalist reporting television news. And then I spent the last 5.5, 6 years doing corporate communications in the private sector. So this is my first role in education. I'm super excited to be in the schools, like coming here and seeing the kids and what happens within these buildings just gives us so much energy to do all of the things that you guys need, and to hopefully take it to the next level. I'm really in a learning and listening phase. So I've been spending a lot of time with Neil, attending a lot of meetings, just trying to put faces to names. And that's going to all take time, but I am really excited about the opportunity to kind of take this position and find ways to, best serve the community as a whole. And what that means, I'm sure that I'm going to have those conversations. I've had some of them already with, principals and district administrators just in my first few weeks, just to get to know you. But those are questions that I'm going to have for the next, say, 60, 90 days as I begin to build out what my role is. So all feedback is welcome. I'm very, I hope approachable and somebody who can, just pick the phone up anytime. I'm more than happy to listen. I'm more than happy to, take that information to the right people and to work towards solutions that best serve everybody.
I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say two things about her, and then one project that she's going to be working on over the summer. I think that you're going to give her applause. But the two things about her, what I've already come to appreciate. Number one is that she's got experience, also not from education. And what I appreciate is that we sit in a room sometimes and a bunch of educators and we're having conversations, and she stops and goes, "You just used an acronym. Can you tell me what that means?" And here's why that's beneficial. Because our community relations person is part of the community sort of thing, is a community member. And so sometimes we get in front of ourselves because it seems very simple and it seems logical, and it seems like, well, this is what we do every day. This is what schools do. And I think because she comes from that background with experience, it's going to help, I think, to provide more clarity to our community members and our parents, into the future. The second one is she asks a lot of good questions. I'm ready to run sometimes. And I'm going to say this, I think, about just us in general as people, what might seem very simple to do, like, let's say on the website, like, can't we just do this one thing? There's a lot of integration and things that happen behind the scenes. And I don't have that ability to think that way. I just kind of think that, why can't it just do this? And she is able to kind of articulate and think through. Where that helps is not necessarily, so it may sometimes her or sometimes Matt Sprott, our tech director, sometimes feels like, no, it's not that. It's just that if you run too fast, you end up creating problems and things that don't sync behind the scenes. And it's helped us to kind of think differently. The one project, she's working on 1,000 projects. The one I think that you're going to love is the website will get a refresh over the summer. So
I am not a webmaster by any stretch. I did not go to school to learn code, but I do have some experience in building out, tools that I've used at other companies. I helped launch native apps. I helped maintain them, drive content, and then also continue to improve them in different phases. And then even really back in my news days, You know, when you work the weekends and you work the night shift or the super early morning shift, there is nobody in that newsroom to update the website. So not only would I be a reporter out on the street, I would be required to go in and make sure that the newest content would be on there. So I'm excited to use those skills and to work with the right people to make that website something that we're all very proud of and we find as a huge resource. I know right now it feels more like a hurdle and causes it's a pain point for a lot of people. You can't find what you need. It's not really user friendly. And I experienced that during the interview process and actually brought it up to Neil in my plan during my gauntlet. And when he offered me the job, he goes, "That's exactly what we need to do." And part of me felt a little hesitant to bring it up and feel like I'm overstepping, that I'm pointing out problems, but I think that it helps that we're all aligned, that that is a problem and that we want to fix it. So I will absolutely need help to understand what needs to be on there, where it needs to be. It's going to be a huge undertaking. And it's going to take a lot of people besides just me. So if I happen to ask a lot of questions, just know that it's coming from a good place and I just want to find out the best way to do it.
Any questions for either of us?
Thank you. Thank you. We're excited. We're excited to have you. And it goes to without saying, I think, but definitely reach out. And if we can help, we will definitely help, especially with information. I'm new at this, so but there are a lot of people that on the exec board that have been around for a long time that can definitely help if I can't answer a question. So thank you.
Thank
Next would be Emma with the Oakwood Schools Foundation update.
Okay, great. Yes, welcome, Amanda. And if you need anything, like Laura said, please don't hesitate. I'm one of those people that has been around for a little bit now in a couple different roles. So I'm happy to help. Okay, so one of my hats is I'm a trustee of the Oakwood Schools Foundation. So I'm looking at my other monitor here, which is why I'm not just gazing off into space, but if I'm looking this way, that's what I'm doing. So first of all, big thank you to everyone who donated in 2023. We've been in the process of going through all of our year-end donations and just want to say thank you so much to the community and everyone who donated. Coming up, Mr. Badenhop already mentioned this, but I think Amy Martin would want me to mention it again, that February 7th at noon, we will have our ribbon cutting ceremony for our new Rick and Jane Schwartz Performing Arts Wing. It is about a 20-minute ceremony. And then we will have a more formal donor recognition event in the spring. As far as other news, because there are always so many different things going on, the winter grants for our teachers across the curriculum closed yesterday. We will be meeting tomorrow, myself and Mike and Neil and Kimby Lang, and we'll be meeting to review all those grants. And then we will be communicating with our community partners, our PTOs, OFAB, to divvy those up if any fall under those categories. So more to come on that.
Emma?
Yes.
The fall grants, the grants that closed this past year, fall, I guess. Is there any type of information we can get, any type of status? I know there were some neat projects, some photos, something to put out on the PTO Facebook page for promotion. That's why it's important to be a part of PTO and membership, you know, the story. Just some PR.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we do ask the teachers for a follow-up at the end of the year, pictures, what is the word? Just verification of success of the program. So yes, Mike will be getting that, and I'll make a note, Theo, that's a great idea, to also make sure we get that over to the PTO.
I know Jennifer said that she was gonna ensure she got pictures
Great.
as soon as they got everything, she was gonna try and get pictures for us. So I know she'll
Perfect.
be sending them at some point. Yeah.
Great, great. So she's working on that. Perfect. Yep. Really great point, because we want to get that out there to show proof, right, of what the money goes towards. So that's awesome. Okay, let's see. And then, oh, we had an awesome philanthropy 101 program. That's a fall class that happens through Natalie Johnson. She does an awesome job with that. And we had 5 charities that came and spoke to our students, and then our students went and visited the charities, and then they gave presentations on these 5 charities. So we ended up through Philanthropy 101. So what happens is we have these awesome donors that give money for this program to run. And as the students give their presentations, they're basically pitching for the money, which was $3,000 total, to be spent on their charity. And so we had closed that work, earned $700, For Love of Children earned $200, Families of Addicts $300, Maple Tree Cancer Alliance $400, and the big winner was the Victory Project, $1,400. So that basically means that the students who presented for Victory Project did an awesome job. It was the winner in both sections of those classes. So they won $1,400 for that charity. So we will be giving the check to those charities at the February school board meeting. So that's really, really fun. Oh, Harlem Art Entrepreneurship Competition. Please spread the word to friends and to your kids and your kids' friends. Harlem Art Entrepreneurship Competition is going on right now. Great opportunity for students to shadow a business owner. And the competition ends February 2nd. So they need to submit their proposals, they have to write a report. And so that report needs to be submitted by February 2nd. Okay. And the Parker Love of Teaching and Lifelong Learning Award will start accepting applications next week. So details related to all these things can be found on the Oakwood Schools Foundation website, but be thinking of teachers that you want to nominate for that. Other than that, 2 quickies. We are going to have another summer soiree event. Planning is underway. It looks like we don't necessarily have a date yet for that, but if you want to get involved, sponsorship, entertainment, food and beverage, contact Amy Martin. And if you're interested in being a trustee, we'd love to have you. And Ashley Hackett, you can let me know, and I'll give the news to Ashley Hackett. So that's it from the Oakwood Schools Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, I keep trying to hit unmute and I keep hitting something else. Thank you. That's amazing. I'm excited for the next summer soiree. I will probably be reaching out, honestly, because that's my jam. I like to help with that. And yeah. So next up we have, so we kind of touched base on the first in the know question about curriculum night and if there were any like class additions or eliminations. I don't know if Mrs. Owens, are you back on? No, I can't see. Well, then we will just kind of.
She is. She's there.
Oh,
We're sharing
there...
I was looking at the program of study. I didn't have a chance to look at the whole thing while I was away from my computer, but I don't know of any classes that are being dropped. And I did see that the CCP Intro to Financial Accounting is being added. And then I know that the economics is being added, but I didn't get a chance to look through the whole thing because I was sharing my computer. So,
yeah.
so
that's fine.
So we're just trying to make things work right now. So, but that program of study, I think it is finalized already because those classes have to be approved by the board. So it is finalized. I don't think we've gotten it back from the printer yet. I think what I was looking at was just the final draft.
Yeah.
So I don't
Okay.
know of anything that's been dropped.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the second in the know question, I am not sure if anyone's on that can answer this, but it was is there a way to ensure the students have enough time to get lunch and that there's enough food for the students when they get through the line, because advisory times are inconsistent with their release? And I know that it's staggered because I mean, you can't have everybody going all at once either. But for the kids, the lines are so long, and it's a continual thing, like, that's been going on for a while, where the food is gone by the time they get through. And I understand the budget. I know that that the budget, and they work with the restaurants who are kind enough to work with us and the food, and they also can only give so much. But if it is a budget issue, how can we raise the budget, whether it's by charging a little more or another way to go to something so that the kids do have food? Because that has been going on for a while, and it seems to, like, it spikes up and then it goes away and then it comes back and it goes away, but the grumblings have been the same for a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting that again, I've heard this come up. Students actually, when I ask them, like, what do you wish for about this school? Do you want a new school building? Do you want, and they go, no new school building. Can you address lunch? Like it's kind of a couple of the kids that were actually out talking with other school districts, and they would come back, and I said, like, they said the problems that are over there aren't the problems that we have here. It's we don't have enough food. And I think, and I don't know if it's about all food versus like honeybees day. And I think, and it's, the obviously, and you hit it right on the nose, is the company doesn't want to take a hit. It's not about us. It's not about our budget. They don't want to take the hit. So they're trying to, figure out how much they want to maximize profit with no leftovers. So is there a way to better do some accounting? I don't know. So I don't have an answer to that part. I did kind of spend a couple lunches observing the line and kind of how things go. There are some ideas that I have. I just got to figure out kind of how to kind of put those together. Tim had some ideas. He had to jump off. But I know he had some ideas too that he kind of walked me through. So it's on my radar. I don't have an answer right away, but it's interesting that I'll use the word high priority, in a sense of, because I'm not hearing much feedback on things that, it's not like the students have been coming back to me with, there are 20 things they wished that I solved. Really, this seems to be the number one. So, and it's pretty loud and clear sort of thing. So yeah, we're leaning in on it.
Okay.
With the weather next week as well, we might have more kids
It's
eating.
changing. The weather's changing a little.
Yeah, I know.
I get it. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't like.
I know. And so maybe there might be more kids eating in. So
yeah, I agree. And it's not. I guess I want to make sure. Like, here's my hope, and you push back on me. My assumption is, it's not that there isn't food. It's because it's just that they don't get that first choice. Like the kids said, my advisory doesn't get out until later. I'm on the far end. By the time I get there, I'm getting food. I'm just not getting the honeybees. And that sort of thing. So,
actually, if I could step in though, I've had my kids a couple times say that, like, there wasn't even an Uncrustable left. Like,
Thank you.
salad bar left, but some of these kids need a little bit more than a salad bar kind of thing. So.
Okay, thank you. Then that is good feedback for me. Okay, just so you know, like, and again, I don't mind being transparent. We had that community coffee this morning. It came up amongst a couple elementary parents of the elementary. So I also see this as a systemic issue of, like you might be able to go, oh yeah, I can tell you my Smith and Harmon days, that sort of thing too. So I think there's something systemic we've got to look at.
Yeah, agree. It gets expensive too. I mean, I love that we have that food, but but if the kids want to do it every day, $8 times 5 times, and it gets expensive. And
we are.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the mad dash. I think someone already mentioned this, like the kids that luck out and have like that class right before, they're like, oh, I got the best class, not because of the content of the teacher, although that could be great, but it's because it's like, right there next to the line. And, it makes me think, oh, you all probably have so many great ideas, but, maybe we have 2 places that we can do, yeah, I don't know. It's the long line and.
This
anyway.
this is all news to me. This is like Lily packs her lunch and I mean,
Oh.
peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, yeah. It's
I
real.
had no idea.
Like if
Well,
you go, it depends on the day, but that line, it's no joke. Like I said, I've observed it. It's not
Really?
truth. Yeah, it's truth.
Yeah,
So
Oh
and
my
having
gosh.
one,
yeah.
having one that already went through and having one that all of a sudden in the last 2 months just started walking home for lunch, I was like, what are you doing? Because, I mean, it's like still 8 blocks. He's like, I'm just tired of dealing with it. So he just comes home and eats and goes back. He goes, by the time I get through, we get held. Like he's one of the later, and he's like, there's nothing. So I'm just going to come home. And I said, oh, and that, but I had heard this before through the last 4 years. So I know it's been an ongoing, and I know a little bit about the restaurant industry. So I understand the budget and the restaurants and working with it, but I know that I'm sure there's a way to come at it where we can have more food.
I agree.
It's just, yeah, I mean, I know that it's possible. Let's put it that
No,
way.
I agree. And your point, I'll take it if like we're all tracking the weather for next week sort of thing, then that translates to, kids are not going to want to walk, the walkers aren't going to be there. And so the stockpiling of food and having it ready sort of thing, we like when
Yeah.
spring is different. Spring is different and fall's different, but winter, we know that kids probably want to eat here more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad it's on your radar. So hopefully there will be. Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up. Thank you, everyone. I know it's a crazy day, so I appreciate everybody joining. Our next meeting is March 14th, I believe, is the next meeting. And we look forward to, there'll be some great things happening, I know, between then, especially with the grants. I'm excited to see what grants come through. Does anybody have anything else? No. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.